I wanted to talk to you about pain and pleasure because these
Yeah.
are the big drivers of dopamine. And I've always heard this phrase. I think Tony Robbins popularized. I'm sure lots of other people have, but he said, "We'll do more to avoid pain than to actually gain pleasure." But in chapter 7, you talk about this idea about embracing pain. And you actually wrote, by pressing on the pain side of the balance, we might be able to might we be able to achieve a more enduring source of pleasure? Can you talk a little bit about that? Why maybe we should start experiencing more pain?
Yeah. So this is a whole branch of science called hormesis, and hormesis is Greek for to set in motion. And what the science of hormesis shows is that when organisms from fruit flies to humans are exposed to mild to moderate doses of toxic stimuli, like very mild doses of radiation or mild doses of exercise, which is actually toxic to cells, or mild doses of freezing temperatures or hot temperatures or gravitational changes, that those organisms turn out to be more resilient and enduring and live longer and are healthier than organisms who are not exposed to those toxic stimuli. And so the prescription, if you will, in the book is that not only should we, um, not overindulge in these intoxicants, but that we should intentionally invite pain into our lives. And this is things like exercise, ice cold water baths, various forms of mind body work from yoga to martial arts to you name it, but also cognitive and emotional challenging tasks, forcing ourselves to stretch ourselves cognitively or emotionally, anything that requires sustained attention and effort. And what we see is that when we do that, the body responds by actually starting to upregulate dopamine and other feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin, norepinephrine. And this has been documented in many, many studies. And yet, people, I think, haven't yet fully embraced this science because we're naturally inclined, reflexively to avoid pain, but also because I think we have a kind of a societal narrative that says, wow, if I'm unhappy or uncomfortable, I should try to be in more comfort. I should try
Mm,
to, do something that will make myself more comfortable, when in fact, a more powerful potential antidote to our discomfort is to make ourselves more uncomfortable than whatever discomfort we're feeling, and thereby trigger our body's own healing mechanisms.
yeah, I love that. And you have a great story about, I think, someone in the book that just used ice baths to reset. He like used a new, made it a new habit. He replaced a bad habit with this new habit, and it was just, and stuck with it. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
surging, and I think you even mentioned that the neuronal network that's created from just ice baths. I thought that was really interesting too. So really cool
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, there's physiologic data showing that freezing ice cold temperatures, which are toxic, um, cause this burst of physiologic dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, even hippocampal neurogenesis.
Yeah.
So new neurons growing, and that's important because we're essentially, what happens as we age is that we lose more and more neurons in the pruning process in adolescence. And although we can still generate new neurons throughout the lifespan, um, it's much slower. But reliable data for what causes or augments neurogenesis or new neurons clearly show that ice cold temperatures and exercise are at the top of the list.